This conference will now be recorded.
We can start. And guys, sorry for the late.
Hey Rakesh, can we start?
Yes, Web. Yeah, we can.
Okay, thank you. Hi guys, good morning, good evening, welcome back. And today we'll just start off with where we left yesterday. And I'll just quickly share my screen. In the meanwhile, if you guys have any doubts, if you tried something, it did not work, just please come up with your doubts.
Yeah, I think what we done in the last class, like we uh, we integrated right with
Yeah,
API kind of thing. So whatever you showed us, so we done
per-
whatever Yeah.
perfect. Okay, then let's go ahead and start doing stuff with user APIs of Okta. Yesterday I did, mention this topic to just have this users API collection imported to your Okta environment. For that, sorry, imported to your Postman environment. Postman is kind of a third-party tool which helps us to, do all the CRUD operations of the API, which includes get, post, HTTP, put, patch, delete, and all others. Like, I just mentioned about those HTTP operations which will be required for us, but like it's not just restricted to Okta or any other tool. This is this is basically created for all the APIs based stuff, and all the other operations which we have on HTTP. So we don't need to worry about all others. We just need to focus on get, post, put, patch, and delete. And yeah, I mean, so if you have this users API collection imported, so you can just see that there are different tabs within this users API. One is like create a user, others is like credential operations, then you have lifecycle operations, then you have list users. So to be very honest, like we were trying to do something manually or using a CSV file, right? So now, like we can see how powerful Okta APIs are. To create a user, you have so many options to do it. Like if you would be using a CSV file or maybe your manual approach, you wouldn't get so many options. Obviously, manual approach you will get all the options, but like to create it using a CSV, you won't get all the options. So these are all based on the requirements. Usually you get some requirements that you have to create a user with their security password, or with their recovery password, or you need to create a user for your vendor, and your vendor does not have any phone or something, so they do not have the option to get the credentials and stuff like that. So based on different use cases, Okta APIs helps us to achieve whatever we have to. Now we will try to I'll just go to one of the API template. So this is like collection in a collection. When I imported the collection APIs, so these are kind of a skeleton of the APIs. This does not mean that I have to use the same exact same format of the API. I mean, formatting should be the exact same, but values need to be something like customized as per my requirement. So if I want email to be something different, I can just go ahead and do it. So now you will just see that you have options to you'll see that this is anything embraced with curly braces is like a variable here in Postman. Now what is the variable is something like it will be the value of this variable will be calculated or fetched at the time of runtime. I mean, when I'll be just clicking on the send button. So at that point of time, this value needs to be fetched from somewhere. Okay, now postman doesn't know from where it has to fetch. So that's why we have created an environment yesterday where we'll be giving these values. Currently, like I have given the URL value, although this is not right, I have to edit it. So and so forth and so forth. So we need to give the values to the URL so that it can fetch at the time of runtime. And even if you just hover on it, you can just see that it's trying to fetch from my environment. So this is what the value that I have set in my environment, that is HTTPS. And over here, if you'll just come and see, so you can also see that this is the same value what I have written over here. So and same goes for this also. It's not necessary that it has to be in the environment. It can be taken from anywhere during the runtime, maybe from your CSV file or your Excel file. But for the timing, you can think of it like that. This is something variable. Variable means that the value is not fixed. It can change. It's not hard coded, right? So like this set of value is hard coded. I cannot change it during runtime because it has to be what we have already given it. So that's what. And once we have other certain other configurations as well, like parameters, authorization is an important concept here, because see, if you'll come here, you'll see that inherit authorization from parent. Now what is a parent over here? This is your parent authorization over here. Okay, so we does not have no auth over here. There are different ways of authorizing it. Now the thing is, like you can use OAuth 1.0, 2.0, maybe a basic authentication, or the bearer token or stuff like that. But for the time being, we just don't want to use any kind of an authorization. We'll be directly giving the value of the API key in the header. Now why do we require authorization? I did mention this yesterday, that when you'll try to hit an API in the browser, right, it will try to check whether you have a session or not. Okay, so yesterday I did like go and try to hit something on the on like maybe this okay, so I was trying to hit this, right? Now I'm able to get something, but if I hit the same thing on my incognito window, I won't get anything. The reason being, it will say invalid session. Since the session is not created, how will it allow you to, give values of something which is not having a authentication or a session with the browser? So same goes, like, even if you're using an API through a Postman has to have a session with Okta. If it does not have a session, it won't get details, right? Like if in case this authorization or authentication concept doesn't come, so anyone can do anything with the anyone's environment. So that's why we require something to make sure that we are into the environment, and that something is known as the API key in Okta. So in Okta, if you just log into Okta, and if you go to security and API, so over here in the second tab, you can see that you have tokens concept. Now you can just go ahead and create a token. Token is something like maybe test token for the time being. I'll just create me and I'll just give my name for the time being. Now I've got a token created. This is my token value. I just copied it. Just make sure that you copy it then and there, because this will just go away. No one, you yourself cannot see it ever again once you click on OK, got it. So this is like only for the one time you have this, you can see this value. So once this token is created, now this is your token ID. This is not your token value. So this is being identified in Okta with this ID, but this is not your value. So make sure that you copy then and there. And now you can just go ahead to your Postman. Maybe I'm just trying to create a user itself, something like maybe create a user with password. Okay, now in the headers I need to give this thing. You see it, right? SSW API key. Now API key is something over here, so I'll just go in and edit this value. Okay, and the URL is something I also need to change again, because this is my URL. Okay. Okay, so I'll just save it and yeah. So I'll just go it over here again, maybe create a user with the password or with password. Okay. Now if I see that I have the new values in my instances, this is my API key which I just created, and this is my URL which I just have. I have it on my own. So this is the see the this it has taken the value from my environment, and for this also it has taken the value from my environment. Okay, this is a post call. Okay, so post call means that it is not a read call, it is like something to be done on the environment. So it is going to create a user on your environment, that's why it's a post call. If it would have been a get call, right, that means like you are going to fetch something and just read it. You are not going to change anything on the environment. But this is a post call, so hence we can understand that this is going to make a new user or do something on the environment. But this is not just something about read feature. It's something going to, edit it or modify, edit, modify, or create. So that's why we are using a post call. Okay. Now, if you go back to body, so over here, the way once we give the authorization in the header, right? The key, this is the key which here. Now it can go ahead and create a session with our Okta with this. Because in Okta there is a token I have created, and that same token I am using in Postman. So there is kind of an authentication. It will go ahead with this API key to this URL, to this URL, that is in dev-5400, and it will try to authenticate. Now this API key is being created by a super admin user. Like if you can see, I am a super admin user. So it will try to, understand whether this token has the privileges to get into the environment or not. So super admin is like the highest level of privileges you can have in Okta. So definitely it will, not say anything. But if you're a read-only admin, or yeah, if you're a read-only admin, okay, and you're trying to get into the environment to create a user. So, and your API key is being created by a read-only admin instead of super admin. Then at the time of runtime here in the Postman, it will give you an error saying that it's not allowed. So you need to make sure that the API key which has been created by the admin should have the privileges to create a user manually or using the CSV as well. Like if you are a read-only admin, you do not have permissions to yourself come into Okta and create a user, then don't expect that you have created a token and that will be able to create a user from Postman also. So privileges should be there with the ID with which the token is created inside Okta. If that is there, then you can just go ahead and do it from Postman as well. So we have seen parameters, authorizations, and headers. Now next we'll come to the body concept. So if you go to the profile, over here you can just give, random names. I'm not giving anything right now. I'll just give, whatever it is. But for the time being, you can just give anything. Okay. So if there is an email suffix over here, right? So this is going to take your. I think there is some issue with this. Okay. So and yeah, so and this is your password. I mean, it's not necessary that you have to, give it in a variable format. You can directly give a value here as well. Okay. But the best thing is to give it using a variable. The reason being because currently we are just creating one user. But this is not what we are going to do, right? We have to create multiple users. So in that scenario, we need to make sure that we have the right number of like we are using the right standards of developing a postman call. So next to so over here I'll just pause off here for a moment. Any doubts you guys have before we
I think we don't get it what you're doing. So can you do it little slower so that we can follow and do that right parallelly?
okay.
Yeah, you were just too fast, little.
Okay, sure.
Mm.
Okay, so see, like what we are trying to do is like we are trying to create a user. This is as the header suggests that create user with a password. So what we are trying to do is that we are trying to create a user which will have a password already, which will already have a password created. Okay. So now, for example, this user will have a password of its own, and it's going to be in the staged environment if this is activate equal to false. Okay, we'll come to this a little bit later, but for the time being, you can just think of that it's going to create a user with password. Now there are different tabs here in Postman which you need to configure before you make the Postman call. Okay, so one of your tab is parameters. So now over here it's an API feature that anything you have after question mark, that becomes your query parameter. Okay, query parameter is something like that. This is your API. This much itna till users. This is your API, and this becomes your query parameter. Activate equal to false. Okay, I hope you guys are able to come to this point, right? Create a user with password.
Excuse me, I'm not
Yeah,
able
yes.
to see the user
Which
in
user?
in workspace. Here you have on your collection, you have get user like that, right?
No, this is something I have created on. You just have to worry about this users Okta API. That's it. Don't think of these things right now. Just think of users of last one, this tab. Only this thing is something
For
you
me,
require.
it's showing only groups OKTA API. That only. It's not showing anything.
So that could be because from here, you have imported Okta groups API collection from Okta. Like you might have done, you have imported groups this only, but you have to do this for the time users API collection. That's why you might be just seeing the groups API collection. Follow the same process, just run it in the Postman and import the API. Like Postman for web. Over here, it will ask you to import, and you can just import it. So it will just add over here. Like
Okay.
yeah.
I will do it in OKTA or in Postman.
No, you have to do it in Postman from your browser.
Okay.
Like from here, no, yeah. So if you go to the browser and just type Okta Postman collection, at that point of time you can see what all collection Okta API support, and then just come in and import it. So this is your
Okay.
user collection, the last one. Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
pinged the URL in the chat. If you want, you can use that.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so once you have this, created over here, then in that scenario, you should be able to see all of this, like create user tab. Then you can have credential operations, lifecycle operation, list users. Okay, so under create user, we are now trying to create. Just don't think about these things right now. They are just all templates what we can use from Okta API. You don't need to understand. I mean, you should understand. That is not something like I'm saying you don't need to understand everything, but you should like don't think like okay, there are so many things over here. Just think of it like try to focus on any one of it. Okay, so maybe you are trying to create an activated user with password. Okay, just think of it, or you are just trying to create a user with password. So we'll just do this thing first, create user with a password, and then we'll go to create a activated user with password. Okay, so now if we are going to this, there is already a template call written, template API call written over here, and that's why we are using collection. Otherwise we could have directly done it on our own. We wouldn't require. Otherwise we could have directly went in and like over here, no, I can just make an untitled request. Maybe I can give something over here, and I can just give something on my own also. Like I don't have any template over here, nothing. See, nothing is there, nothing in the body, nothing. But I don't require that. That's why I don't want to do all that much of hard work. So because if I already have a template or a collection created from Okta, so then why should I build that thing from scratch, right? It's complete waste of time. So that's why I have just imported that stuff from my Okta environment. And now what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to make an API call from here from Postman. Okay. Now the thing is, and this is that API call, create a user with password. Okay. So now there are different parameter, I mean different configuration settings which you should complete. They already have it. Like for example, over here you see, right, activate false. So this is going to, create a user with a password, but the status of that user will not be active. The reason being because you are making it as activate false. So that's the meaning of this query parameter over here. Query parameter is something, whatever you see after, you know question mark in the API, in the URL, that is always a query parameter for anywhere. Like it's not just about Okta, or it's like in general of APIs, that whenever you're hitting or doing something with the APIs and you see question mark activate, I mean question mark and then fields and value equal something, whatever it is, I mean something like this. It could be anything else as well, like maybe first name, maybe, okay, no, yeah, like maybe if I just need to write like first name equal to maybe Vibhor. So see, just like you can just keep on appending. So what it will do is, like, it will go in over here and it will find those users, maybe, or it will just make sure that you are using these two filters. Like, this is kind of a filter only, you can say that activate should be false and first name should be equal to Vibhor. So stuff like that. You can directly write it in the URL. If you feel that you might get the format wrong, like I wasn't sure that if an and is required or not, so you can come in and add it. And it's up to you, like you can add it just for the, but if you want to activate or deactivate is something you can using this checkbox. Okay. So is it clear till here, like whatever we are doing till here? I'm just talking about parameters right now, nothing else.
Yes.
So
Okay.
the first name we are giving whatever we have the user in the OKTA, right? The same username we need to give. Not username in the sense like the value, first name.
Yeah, I'm just no, I was just giving a dummy example, not related to Okta. This is like just to help you understand what query parameters are. It has nothing to do with Okta. I'm not giving anything, like it would be, maybe
Okay.
anything, anything like this. This has nothing to do with our Okta. This is like I was telling that if you need to add query parameters, so this is how you do it. And one of your query parameters over here is your activate equal to false. So this means that this is going to create a user, but the user will be in the, it will not be in the active state. You can think of it like that. The user will be created in
Okay, got it.
Okta, user will not be in active. Yeah. So next comes the concept of authorization. Okay. So yesterday I told you that we were just trying to create a session with Okta, right? I mean, when we were trying to, you remember, like in today's class also, sometime back, I just hit a URL, I got a JSON payload, right? JSON data over here on the screen. And then I told you, I went into the incognito window and I tried to, hit that thing. And it said, it gave me an error message saying invalid session, right? So that's exactly something we have to make sure that we are doing it from Postman as well. There needs to be some session created from Postman to your Okta tenant. Otherwise, it will not allow you to get into the environment. See, if for example, if I'm not creating that session, I mean if I'm not getting into my Okta environment from Postman, then I can do anything. Like then hackers can just use this Postman tool to get into anyone's environment, because this is not like something which is confidential. Anyone can know this URL. Like I can know it for many organizations. It's not something that okay, this is very difficult to get. Like I can easily search it on the net and I can get it. And if I don't require anything else, then so it's like walk on the cake for the hackers to just get into the environment and do anything what they want. They can create users, get users, delete users, and do anything. So for that, for keeping all the security constraints in mind, what Okta has done is like the whenever you are doing an API call, you need to have a session created with the tenant. So that's what we were trying to do here. If you go back now, this was the payload I was talking about. So if you go back over here, and if you go back to your tenant, go to security, go to API. You'll get to see three different options here. One is the authorization servers, one is tokens, and the other is trusted origins, right? So I think you guys are already here and you guys have created, so that's good. So you need to, create token over here. And as I mentioned before, like while you are creating a token, just make sure that you are copying the token then and there. If you're not doing it, it will just, you have to just revoke the token and create it again. I mean, it's not something that, it like you cannot do anything, but like if you're creating a token, better, just copy it then and there. Also, one important thing about the API token I would like to tell you guys here is that this token created by me, or this token created by Sukanya, or these two tokens created by two different people, this token will only be active. I mean, sorry, this token will only be active if it is being used within next 30 days. Okay. For example, I have created a token, but I don't use this token for next 30 days. Next 30 days. Like this token is not being used anywhere in the system. It will deactivate on its own. Okay. So while you are creating a token, because see what we do in Okta is we generally create tokens to automate process, like so for example, I am going to use an Okta API to do certain stuff. Okay, so what I have done is I'm pretty sure that my token will be used every day, or alternative days, or once in a week or twice in a week, such stuff like that. But if you're not sure that it's kind of like a one-time process. You did something today, now you don't know when do you have to do it again. Maybe after a 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 1 week, you are not sure of it. So after 30 days, your token will expire if it is not being used. Only if it is not being used for next 30 days. If it is being used any day from that day, then next 30 days. Like you use it today, then you use it on 29th day, then again it will get active for next 30 days. But if you don't use it for next 30 days after today, this token will become inactive on 31st of the, like after 31 days, I mean after 30 days, sorry. So just to make sure that you understand this token stuff, because what happens is, like sometimes in the environment you have configured a token, you haven't realized that the token is deactivated, and you're trying to make the API calls, like or it not just the API calls from Postman, but from somewhere else also, like maybe a JavaScript file or somewhere else. So this is like a very small thing, which no one remembers. Okay, my token would have expired, and you won't even get this error on your system saying. It will just give you some bizarre error which you won't understand. So that's why it's like good understanding that. Make sure that you check your token. If you have that it should be active. If it is inactive, this color will become red if it is inactive. Like if you go in here, so see, and it is being giving you a pop-up also that this token has been used in last 3 days. So like once it becomes red, no, at that point of time you can understand that this has become inactive, and if you hover, it will say that the token was not used from last 30 days. So this token is only active for next 30 days. Okay, so this is understood, I guess. Now you guys have created a token, so that means you are into the Postman with a token now. Okay, and over here in the now we are using the concept of variables over here. It is not necessary, I'm iterating again, that you have to use variables only. You can just directly come in, put your URL, directly put your URL, this URL, it will still take it. It's not something that you have to. If you hover on it, you will understand, right, that this is the value it is going to take. If you just hover on the URL, this is the value, initial and current values which you see. So it's not something that you cannot hard code it, but it's not a good practice. That's the only thing. Like it's not a good practice to hard code it, and hence we are using variables. Again, same concept goes for here as well. This is the parameter or the header which will help you to create a session with Okta. So this is it. Like I have just went in. So how do you configure these values is something in your test environment. If you don't have it, then go to edit and get these values. If you have it, perfect. If you don't have it, just type URL, give the initial and current value, just type API key, give this and give that. That's it. Like you don't have to worry about all of this. Like why do I not have all other stuff? If you have it, good. If you don't have it, it's fine. Just make sure that you have these two things which you're using as a variable. Okay, so maybe you can configure it like and confirm that you have configured the URL in the API key, and then I'll
Or
just
how you get it on this domain page?
what thing?
How you get this my OKTA test domain page, right? Where you need to search that?
No, you have created your environment yesterday. So there is an I button on the right of it. So if you just click on it, maybe it could be a possibility that you don't see anything over here. So in that scenario, what I'm saying is
I
that you
can't
click.
see anything in the my environment. Means there is no variable, there is no initial value, there is no URL, there is no API key.
Exactly, that's what
It's
I'm
saying
saying.
like a ID
Have
10 and a variable ID. Yeah.
No, I'm saying if you don't have anything, it's fine. You just need to add these two things, URL and API key. Just add it on your own. Like, don't think that, okay, I do not have username, all of this. I've been using Okta from a very long time, so I have just maybe added these values on my own, or I might have imported an environment from somewhere. So if you don't have it, it's fine. Like, you can just hard code it. Like, just write URL, give the value. You can just write API key, give the value, and it will work. We don't require all other parameters. Like you can see, right, all other parameters are empty for me. So it's like only these two are necessary for the timing, URL and API key. That's it. And also type this also, email hyphen suffix. The reason being because I think this API is using somewhere this thing. So maybe you can type this also. I'll just add this in the chat. And in the suffix you can give any value, like just in the format of the email, like example.com, gmail.com, hotmail.com, facebook.com, not Facebook, sorry, like anything, your workid.com, something. Okay, once you just make, like once you have these three parameters set, just let me know, we'll move forward.
So the type will be default, right? We have another column called type default. I just kept it default.
Which column?
So it says variable, type,
Hmm?
initial value, current value.
Yeah, just keep everything like whatever type, don't touch type, just include URL, initial value, and current value.
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Okay. Others is all. Can you please confirm if you are done with it? So now, like, if you once you are done with it, just try to hover on this URL. You go to create a user with password here on the left side, no? Go to create user with password.
I can't see any URL when I hover on the URL.
Okay, so have you set it on your environment?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you go ahead and click on save?
Okay, 1 minute. Yeah, now when I hover on the URL, it show me the same, the URL, the
Perfect.
dev and dev Okta and
Right.
yes, the same.
Good. Yeah, exactly. That's what we want. So this is like, dynamic way of fetching a value.
Okay.
sorry, this is like dynamic way of fetching the value. So you're not hard coding the value. Hard coding means like you're not directly putting the value here. So now what happens is like, today you are just working with this dummy thing. Tomorrow you are in the real environment. So you just have to go in over here and change the value to the real time environment. You don't need and change the API key, of course, but like, so you don't need to make changes in the like, the main API call. This remains exactly the same, whether it's your dummy environment, whether it's your real-time environment. This is exactly the same for all of them. You don't need to change it. I mean, obviously change it as per your requirement. Also, like over here you see that first name is hard coded. If you don't want, just make it as a variable. You can do that. Like, if you just want to make it this as a variable, like maybe first name. Okay. And I just go in and maybe edit, and I'll just give something like first name over here. Maybe we go, and I'll just save it. And now I go back here. Okay, this is in the body, so that's why it will not fetch, but it will be now Vibhor only, which will be going. So this becomes like, my dynamic value. I'm not hard coding it, but every time for every API call, this will be Vibhor only for the time being, but this is like coming from somewhere. This is coming from your environment, right? So that's why this is like a good practice to follow. But if you are not understanding it, like because you might be working with APIs for the very first time, so you can directly use them also, like directly come in here and like type Wibbo. That's also fine. Like, but anything is fine, but you should understand like what you are doing here. So now like I am not into the body right now, I was just onto the headers. So if it is clear till here, if you hover on URL and if you hover on API key and you can see the value, so then it's perfect. We can move on to the body tab next. So can you guys confirm if this is clear till now?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Next comes the body part now. Okay. So see, this is something, a template for the Okta API. Okay. This is not something what I have decided. First of all, this is in the JSON format. Okay. If you go to raw, you can see that already the JSON value is by default selected. Okay. And now even if I just, just to make sure that you guys are, so maybe I type as Okta user API. Okay. And if you go to the Okta developers guide, no, over here, like you are trying to create a user with password. See, so this is that, this is that default, body parameter which Okta requires. If I send something else, formats will be same. Values can differ. Format has to be same. So because this is an API written in Okta's environment, in Okta's, backend by the Okta's backend team using Java. So this is using REST API call, and REST APIs understand JSON format. Okay, so over here, if you'll just see that what it is doing is that there is a profile parameter, because we are in the users, so that is something to do with the profile of the user, right? So if you because we are just working with the user API, so we'll have profile which includes first name, last name, email, login. Not necessarily that you can have only these parameters. If you want to add more, you can add more. Like this is something which are like mandatory. You might be remembering it, right? Like while creating it through a CSV also, at least we had to give these four to make sure that we have the user created. It is not necessary that we can have only these four. You can add more as well. Like you can just come in and maybe add one more. I don't remember the names of the URLs, to be honest, but maybe I think we had this thing. So maybe something like cyber, and that's it. Okay. Okay, I think it's okay. Okay, sorry, comma is missing. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So now even if I try to send this thing, it will just take away. I mean, I need to make sure that I have this exact same attribute value in Okta. Like if it is capital D and I have given small d, then it will not take because it is case sensitive. But if I have it, then I can just keep on adding the parameters over, I mean attributes over here under the profile tab. Okay, then you have the credentials tab. Now, as the header suggests now, right, create a user with password. Okay, so there has to be something with the password profile as well, right? So that's why we are using credentials over here. This is again a header under which like you will understand what all things you have. Now I'll just go back here and I'll just take you to here. Although this is okay, sorry, although this is like a little bit complicated for you to understand right now, but think of it like yeah, if you go to profile now, every user will have a profile under which you'll find first name, last name, manager, mobile phone, second email, and all everything. Then every user will have a credentials like emails, value. Every user will have a provider. Then every user will have an ID and stuff like that. So what I wanted to show is that there are certain headers under which you have different fields for every user, and that's what we are doing here, that we are just working with profile field with these attributes and working with credential header with these attributes. Okay, so now I just want to, maybe I'll just hard code this value for the time being. I am, even this also, like if you haven't, just hard coded, because uh, I don't want to waste our time over here to check where the emails are going and stuff like that. So I'll just give my email to make sure that this user is activated. You can also do the same, because otherwise emails will go to this particular login and like we cannot activate this user. So that's why I'll just give mine, and other apart from that I'm just giving a password as I am flow maybe 123 anything. Okay, so now I have a user at Isaac Brog, login and email is something mine, department is cyber, password is I am flow exclamation 123. Okay, so this is something there would be a user when this API call will be made, there would be a user created in Okta with this first name and last name, this login credentials, and the password would of that particular user would be I am flow exclamation 123. Okay, understood till now? Like any doubts over here on the body part?
So why I put the department, it is some underline it coming like So
Underline is coming because you might not have put the comma just before it, because this is a JSON format, so every line should be delimited by a comma. So that's why that underline is
got
there,
it.
like yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay. So like rest, like it's clear, right? Like I don't think so. Apart from that, like if in case you are not clear, then just let me know. Otherwise, we'll move forward. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
think we
then
are good.
okay, sure. Thank you. So next we'll move to pre-request script. Now pre-request script is something like before the call is going to be made, you can write something. This is like before a call is will be made. So there are some code snippets here. If you don't know how to create an environment, I can just go ahead and create an environment. I have not done anything. This is like a snippet already available, so you can maybe if you want to add a global variable, get a variable, get a collection variable, anything, you can just write it over here using these stuff like so, or maybe send a request. So maybe you're not familiar with this language, so it's fine, we don't require to be familiar with this language. We can just use these snippets. If in case you do not have that snippet over here, you can just write some, you can learn more about it, but for the timing we don't require. I'll just delete all of this. I just wanted to show you that we can do stuff like that. And this is like, see, what will happen is that whatever we are going to do with an API is that is a request. That is a request which will be sending, be it any call, get call, post call, put call, patch call, delete call. First thing will always be the request. So that's will be forming here. So this will be the request. After the send button, there would be a response, whether it failed, whether it got succeeded or anything. So this is always a requesting what we form in our API call. And if you want, before the request is made, some parameters to be some variables to be initialized or stuff like that, then this is the place to where you can do it. And then you have just the settings like maybe verification settings, HTTP. You don't have to actually work with this much. So just for us, like the major part is to understand the parameters, and to be honest, the major part is to understand the headers and the body part, because that's where our this will help us to create a session, and this will help us to understand what is going to be created in Okta. So this is the main part you have in body. Also make sure that this raw is selected, like otherwise I'll just copy paste and show it to you guys. So if in case none is selected, so that means you don't want to send a body. So okay, it's up to you, but like if you're not sending a body in a post call, that doesn't make any sense. Then you can just maybe have like a same format as that of parameters, but over here we don't require that. Then maybe some URL encoded values you want to give if you have it, but we don't have that. So we'll just have this raw parameter, and that too in the JSON. You can have it in JavaScript, but we require it in the JSON because we are using REST APIs, so that's why our API understands JSON format. So that's the reason we are doing that. So anything which is not clear till now, please come up with it, guys, before I make the API call.
I cannot do the authorization part. Means there is no API generated in my session.
No API generated means like there is nothing to be generated from the postman. From your session only you can, the API stuff is given here in the headers. So if you hover in
Yeah.
a,
So these values are not coming yet. It said that the variable is not generated.
okay,
API.
can you go to this eye icon and see that the variables are there, and also can you click on the save button? This should be disabled for you, so that like it should say that there are no new changes to save. And then also if you're not able to see, just let me know.
No. There's
Okay.
nothing in
Mhm.
my environment, just the URL.
Sorry, you just have the URL in your environment.
Yes, only the URL, no API.
So is it like you are able to see the URL value when you hover on it?
Yes, I can see the URL value,
Yeah,
but
so then you just have to go in and add the API key as well on your own. That's what I said before, that this is like for me, I have imported this environment. So, but you guys can, because we are just going to use a URL and API key for the time being. So you can just go in and hard code it. Hard code means like the way you would have done it for URL, just add API key also on the second row and give the value whatever you have done, got from the Okta environment.
okay.
Not, yeah. Also not necessarily that every one of us has to create an API, because we are going to use the same environment, but it's good like for the timing you need to learn, so you can create an API token. But usually in real time scenario, one API token, and if everyone needs to do the same work, this a token is being circulated within the team, so anyone can use it because we are using the same environment. Okay, yeah, so just just make sure that you have it in your environment there. Once you'll have it, you'll click on save, you'll have it on your hovering button here, authorization tab as well. Okay,
Yeah, I got it.
perfect. Okay then, so let's go ahead and make the API call, and let's see if it works or not. So if I'll click on send, perfect. So now you see first thing is 200. That means okay. Now just hover on it and try to read it. That this is a standard response for successful HTTP request. So this was my HTTP request. Whatever I sent, I told you guys that there is a request and a response. So request is something what we created or generated over here, and this is the response of that request. So response came with a successful message saying that yes, your user was created successfully, and it's just showing me that what are the different parameters it kept for my user. Like profile is something it kept exactly the same what I gave. Then credentials is something like it won't show the credentials again over here, but like they are being kept. properly, and then my schema and all can be found from here. We don't have to worry about that for the timing. Let's go. And activated is equal to null, which means this is not an activated user. Let's go ahead and check it in Okta now. So if I go to directory and people, I created a user with Isaac Brook. So see, this user is created now, but it is in the staged environment, and that's exactly what we read in our in our theoretical sessions, that an account which has been created through an API but it is not yet active is a staged. So now this is a an account or a identity being created from our API, but it is not yet active. This account is not yet active. This account is just created. So if I go in here, I can just just go ahead and activate this user. So that is something I'll activate it. Now I'll be getting an email. Okay, so let's go ahead and check my email. Okay, I'll just activate this account, and now I have to give that same password what I have given it over here. So for example, I'll just try to okay, sorry, not necessarily that you have to give the same password. The reason being because that account was in the deactivated state. Okay, so it would have been if you would have, now it has been activated. So for example, yeah, let's go back. Yeah, now the user status has changed. But for example, what I would have done is that I would have gone to the incognito window and would have logged in with this user. At that point of time, I would have used the same password what I created over here. I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have got an activation email in that instance. So I would have used the same password what I used over here. That is IAMFlow hash one two exclamation 123. But since I activated the user at the time of activation, it just prompted me to set my password again. So that's why I just, like, at that point of time this password carries no no status. But if in case you are a staged user with a password, so and you haven't got the activation email, so if you hit this admin URL, no, I mean if you hit our Okta URL, so at that point of time you can use the same username and credentials to get into the environment. So that's how it works here. Now if you are able to create a user, please confirm, like, see, this user is active now. So like, are you able to make that API call from your Postman?
No, so it is getting a 400 bad request for me.
Okay, so 400 bad requests generally means that there is some error with your body. I mean, some error in your body of the request. So can you quickly share your screen? Maybe we can have a look what's happening.
Yeah, I can share. I think body is gone. I don't see anything in the body.
No, body will be there. You just have to, I mean, like, kind of drag it so that you are able to, make it.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Can you give access, I think, to share the screen?
Yeah. Yeah, given.
See, you are able
Okay.
to see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the bad request where I can see the body. Body is gone like now.
Now click
But I
on
can
bind.
see
Go back
the
to body. No, no, go back to the body. Yeah. Body. Go to raw. You are in none. Save it.
okay.
Save it now.
Save it right where I can. Okay. Let me.
No, yeah. No, below your on that create user with password, above send button, save.
Save.
Yeah. This. Yeah. Now send. Login with an object.
maybe login.
No, yeah. You have a login with this. You already have this Gmail created. There has to be a user created with a unique email ID. I did not give my already existing Gmail. You have to give some other Gmail with which you do not have an account in Okta. Because otherwise this user will also have that same unique parameter which you have, so then Okta cannot identify it, right? I told you that there would be a unique parameter for every user, so there has to be a login which needs to be unique. You can have the email as your old one, but login has to be unique. It cannot be same.
So, okay, login should be the different. Okay,
Yeah,
2019.
email
Okay, I
can be
can.
same for many people, login has to be different.
So login it should be. I can give test one or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just save it
So
now.
anything.
Save it now. Yeah, and now try to hit it again. Okay, API validation failed. Could not create a user due to invalid profile. API validation failed. Can you go back to the headers tab?
Where there
Headers.
in
Yeah, beside yeah, this one, headers. Yeah. Can you hover on your API key? Okay.
yeah, I got API key stored in my notepad and I put it
I
there.
think there is an issue in the body only. It's an invalid user profile exception. So if you go to the body,
So what I done was I create this one is the OKTA, right? So I created a test token and I saved that whatever
that is
values we are getting, right?
that is fine. Yeah, that is fine. Yeah, this is fine. If you go back to your Postman again, so in this you need to go to body. You're on headers tab now. Go to body and profile, first name, last name. Can you give a proper, I mean, same email ID what you have given above, or some proper email maybe? I think because this is going to be in the staged environment, that's why it's require a proper login email ID. Just give like some other if you have.
Okay, I have this.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
And can you just scroll down once? Scroll down.
hold on. Okay.
Credentials, password, value. Okay. Here now try to hit. Mhm. Login object with this field already exists. Do you have it already? I mean, just let me think. Mm,
Okay, I'll use different name if you want. Like, give me 1 second.
yeah, just give different email and login, like which is already not there in the system. Others, are you able to create a user, or you are also facing some errors? Also change the email value. Change the email value also as the one you have kept for login.
Which
Email.
one login? You're also same. Okay.
Yeah, let's keep them both of them same. If you click on save now, yeah, send. Yeah, now you're able to do it.
Okay, status 200. So I can go and see my
Yeah, yeah.
thing. Okay, go to what? Okay, so go to users. Yeah, this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. I'm able to
So,
see. So I
yeah.
need now activate now. Just
Yeah, you need to activate it, I mean. Yeah.
Okay, I'm done. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank
So
you.
that's no problem, no problem. Okay, I'll quickly share my screen again. So others also can do it, right? Like I see for Swamini also it's done. Anyone else who was trying can also confirm it if they were able to do it. Okay, so I'm assuming that that you are able to do it, let's like if you are not able to do it, just let me know and we can just discuss it again. So now we have just created a user with a password, but it was in the activated false mode. Like this was we were the people who actually went into Okta and activated it. Now next thing we'll just have it like just beside like just one step down of this create a user with password. We have create activated user with password. Now nothing is going to be changed over here. Only one thing is changed over here in the URL. You see activate equal to false, and over here you will see just activate equal to true. Everything else is same. Everything exact same thing. Just you if you just hover here and if you hover here API key, right? So you will see that okay. And in body I'll just give something else now. Maybe like I'm going to delete my old user now because I don't require this. I've just shown it to you. So I'll just deactivate it and delete it so that I can create it again. And so maybe Isaac Brooker and same and this I'll just hard code it. So maybe again same thing I'll do 4g69@gmail.com. Okay, and password is something I'll give same. I am low. Okay. So I'll just save it. We have created or we like again okay, let's give department also if you want. Okay, let's go ahead and create it. So everything else is same, nothing else changed, just activate equal to true and same body what we had before. So let's go ahead and send a request. See, so account is created and now I'll go back to Okta. I'll go back here and I see this my account is created and this is in the active mode. I don't have to do anything. Okay, now I will try to log in to my environment, okay, with an incognito window where I do not have I'll just use the same credentials. So if I want to log in, I'll just hit the instance and I'll give the username as same whatever I have it. So and password would be same whatever I gave it on my API call. So this is was it, right? So I'll give the same password what I've said here and let's see if it allows me to get in or not. See, so it allowed me to get into it, right? And I'm with the same user Isaac Brook and stuff like that. So that's why like I was able to create a user from Okta with a password. Like I did not have to reset it, and also this time I wouldn't have got any email. Like last time I got an email, right? This time I wouldn't have got because this time I already activated the user from my API. Last time I did not activate it. I went into Okta and from there I manually did an key send an Okta activation email to activate the user. That's why I got an email. But this time I have made sure that my user is already activated. And this is a use case for many people work for an organization and they do not have the organization emails, like, and we don't want to use their Gmail IDs over here. Okay, like, so what happens is that we directly activate those users and their manager or whosoever is the vendor who is in the organization, they provide them with their passwords that okay, user one you have this password, user two you have this. So like maybe 500 users created with an API, so everyone will get their own password and then they can just use those credentials to get into the environment. They don't have to, come into the environment daily or use any application. They just have to, do certain stuff and go away. They are just contractors. So in those scenarios, you can just, go ahead with this approach. So please confirm if this was clear as well. The second one, which we did, like activate with a password, activate a user, create a user with the in the activated mode and with the password. Just make sure that you try to, hit the same in the incognito window, and you are able to log also, like the way I did. If that is done, I think that's it. Like that is what we were trying to achieve using a user API. Can you guys please confirm if you are like, okay, I mean, just take 1 minute or 2 minutes, like if you haven't done, but like mostly for these two, it's like exactly same. Only difference is like true and false. And I mean, from an API point of view, it's only true and false, but from a user point of view or from an Okta admin point of view, the difference is like, yet to be, is worth to be noted, I guess. So like, yeah, we don't have to manually come in and activate the user, or we don't have to send activation emails. We can directly have this user activated and the user can directly log into the environment. Right.
Yeah. Okay, sir. We'll practice and we'll ask questions in the next class.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I think that's it for the day. We are good to close today's call. We have covered something on the users API. We'll see more of it tomorrow, and then we'll move on to the group rules creation here in Okta, and then we'll take it forward to profile editors and directory integration. So yeah, just practice it, whatever you have done till now. Also, like, you want to practice something else apart from these two. It's not, that you are restricted to only work with these two. You just go ahead and practice any of it, and if in case you feel that you're getting stuck or you're not able to achieve it, we can discuss it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Tomorrow we have class, sir, because last week we don't have class. So.
right. Yeah, next class we can discuss. So you have a lot of time. So I would say that, just over a weekend or, anytime soon, whenever you get some time, make sure that you are, trying to
Okay.
cover great users. Yeah, so you can just practice it. I cannot cover everything in the here in the class, so but I can, take up doubts. Like anyone is getting stuck anywhere, just, we can have screen share sessions, and we can get them clarified.
Okay, sir.
Okay, guys, so anything else apart from that before we close off? Okay, then I
I'm
think
good.
yeah, okay, then happy weekend, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Bye bye.
Have a nice weekend, sir. Thank you.
Bye bye.